Ready? Welcome, everybody. We have already established a quorum, so we're going to start the open session. So at this time, I need a motion for approval of the agenda, please. All in favor? Could I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda items?
Second.
All in favor? Communications.
Yeah, I have a couple here.
Okay.
First one is a thank you. Just noticed to express my sincere thanks for being recognized at the February meeting, for making a difference award. That is from Angie Salee. And we have a thank you letter from Representative Terry Thompson.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, our monthly financial update.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, just to give you a quick financial report for this month. Last week, I attended a MASA workshop on budget development in Jefferson City. Some of the key points were investigating the various revenue sources and what tools to use to project future revenues, tracking expenditures historically, and how to develop trends going forward. Elena attended a MET bookkeeper meeting in Springfield. Some of the key points were open enrollment, wellness program, vision plan change, and billing process improvements. Open enrollment will be coming up at the end of April. Employees will have access to use the Benefits Advocation Center for the first time during spring open enrollment. And then the wellness program will begin in July with incentives for employees for completing specified wellness visits. And then the vision plan will change from BSP Choice Network to IMED Access Network on July 1 as well. 2022 bond update as of the end of February, we have spent $3,888,692.42 on completed and paid invoices. This leaves us with a current balance of $4,144,876.03. We currently do have approved purchases that have not been paid in the amount of $473,553.89. And then in your board packet is the fund balance report. That's their monthly. Currently this year's revenues are more than last year, with the increase in revenues would be from the increase in assessed val, proxy, delinquent tax payments, as well as the increase in transportation revenues. And then our expenses are also higher than last year. That is from the known from the differences for the increasing of salaries and the new bond improvement costs. And that's it for this week.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Okay, next up, Ms. Melizzi and Mr. Hopmer, come on down. Academic focus, middle school.
All right, so we need Miss Torres to come on up and Miss Lola and Miss Mia. You all want to stand by your board. That would be fabulous. All right, so Mrs. Torres is our new target teacher for the gifted program for the district, and so we definitely want to give a shout out to her. She has done a fabulous job this year in her new role and assignment. So we have Miss Mia Unruh and Miss Lola Walters, and so they are part of the 8th grade target program. And so these ladies are now going to be heading on to the national level for their History Day presentation. So do you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about what these ladies are, kind of how it all started?
Well, it's been they've been doing this project in 8th grade for a long time. It's a National History Day competition. I believe, is it the 50th one, do they say next year? Do you remember that? Next year is the 50th, so this is the 49th year they've been competing. And this year's theme was Frontiers in History. So basically it took a while to kind of figure out what are they talking about. It's not like the Wild West. It's basically like people or ideas or events that they had to overcome struggles or hardships or whatever in order to be successful. And so we spent quite a bit of time in the beginning just kind of trying to figure out what would fit for that, and just researching different possible ideas until they settled on different ones. And all 5 of them, I have to say and give a shout out, they all worked really hard for 3 full quarters. And
All right, Miss Lola, you want to talk about your project for us?
My project is on Hedy Lamarr, and she was an actress in the 1940s. who invented a way of like transmitting frequencies to where like the Nazis and like other enemies couldn't intercept what their communications were. And also her invention went on to create Wi-Fi. It's the basis for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And so yeah, she was a really famous actor, and so that was hard for her to get her point across and to be able to publish her creation, because she had to end up going through a famous composer at the time in order to do that, because she knew that he had the resources and was not, you know, a woman during that time period. So yeah, my project's on that.
All right, Miss Mia, you want to share about your project?
Yeah. My project's on insulin. My brother is 11 and he was diagnosed with diabetes. And so I did my project to learn a little bit more about him. My first panel is about before insulin, like what they used, how they sort of treated it. In the middle is about the creation, and in the end is all the prizes and things that came after it.
So do you want to tell them what place you got at the first round?
I got third.
Okay, and Lola?
Second.
And then do you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to do for the next competition, any changes you might make?
So for the next competition, which is state, I want to fix a lot of the physical things. So like the background, I want to make it like nice and neat, and then I want to change a little bit from my last panel, but that's really about it. But these are all based on the judges' like notes that they took.
I'm gonna fix my thesis statement and write a conclusion. And then in my process paper, I'm going to change the first sentence because it didn't really make sense.
And then lastly, Lola, do you want to kind of tell them a little bit about the papers that you have to write, what all that entails?
So
Because it's more than just their boards and their presentation.
So we have a process paper, which is, so the process paper and all the words that you write on the exhibit have to be less than 500 words. And you have a process paper, and they ask you 5 questions, things like how did you make your board, how does it relate to the theme, stuff like that. And you write that paper, and it's just, you answer all the questions and make it nice. And then you have to write an annotated bibliography, which is where all your, like the websites and books and everything that you used are on a paper in a good format. And they have like a 1 to 2 sentence like annotation about what you used it for.
All right, thank you, ladies.
Yeah, can I ask you guys a question? So these competitions that you're going to, you mentioned that you going to make changes and then go to your next one. Are they steps? The competitions, are they steps like district, state, that kind of thing?
So the first one, this was our regional one for
Okay.
Kansas City region. There's 9 regions within the state. So basically the top 3 advance in each region, which means there's a total of 27 exhibits that they'll be competing against 25 other people for at the state level. And the top 2 will move on to national level in Washington DC.
Is there any limitations that they put on making changes, or can you just?
They didn't say, they just say you can take the judges, like their comments and feedback, and, you know, make changes, and just so you can make it better and improve it for the next round.
All right.
Great job.
But yeah, great job. Thanks for representing
you.
Odessa.
All right, next we need to have all 5 of you lovely people come on up here. Mr. Hotmer, I'm going to give these to you. So come all the way up here in front of these fabulous board members, kiddos. We're going to look at them. So all 5 of these are 8th grade students, and so they're all part of the gifted program at the middle school. And so they have to have 125 IQ or higher to qualify for the gifted program, along with some other requirements. So all 5 of these kiddos are outstanding students academically. They all have great character, so we are proud of them as athletes as well. Some of them do athletics. but their academics is what we were super proud of them for. They all competed in the history game competition. However, only 2 got to move forward. I know that some of them are looking forward to next year. I know Parker has already been talking to Mrs. Torres about what he would like to do next year, and so I really appreciate their energy and their efforts as they're looking forward to next year's competition. So we just want to thank their parents and thank them for being outstanding kiddos. So we're going to go ahead and recognize them for their academic efforts.
All right, first up, Natalie Doney. Bella Newman. Parker Nye. Mia Unruh. And Lola Walter.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you guys are free to go. Thank you. Do your homework if you haven't done your homework yet. Thank you, parents. You guys can go ahead and take them unless you'd like to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Okay, next up, we are here to recognize somebody special, making a difference.
Yeah, I would like to recognize Upper Elementary School paraprofessional Rachel Radigan, who was nominated by several staff members. Here's a few of the things that she said that were said about her. Rachel goes above and beyond every single day. She's always kind and understanding and willing to help whenever needed. Does a fantastic job no matter what she is doing, and is always willing to jump in and help out wherever she is needed. And Rachel is always calm and insightful in working with the students. And she was recognized at the building level last week, and we have a plaque for her as well for recognition tonight with the Board of Education. But thank you for everything that you do. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Okay. Next up is the Board of Education Recognition Month.
Yeah, I just want to take a minute and give a special thanks to the board members. It's more than just the meeting a month. It's a lot of engagement to continue to make this district better for our students, and every single day. The dedication that the board members have is second to none as far as I'm concerned. Bringing your time and talents to the table and providing insight so we can, like I said, make the education better. As a show of appreciation, we've got some administrators here that have some gifts for you. We'll just start with Mr. Armstrong, I think, is back there.
I'm here. Mine didn't get put out there, so we gotta get mine.
Oh, okay.
Mine's over here. Is it a pony? Apparently it's not. Oh, good. Thank you. No.
Well, I mean, those late nights, those early mornings, gotta have that warm coffee. We drink a lot of coffee over at Macquarie.
Thank you.
So just, we thank you guys for everything that you guys do. So just a small token of appreciation for supporting all our programming and everything. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
They're Stanley. You're like bougie now, I guess. Is what I hear. I hear Stanley's like the end thing. So.
Mr. Doreen Smith.
So you guys have the coffee and the drinks. Now you got the food too. So we got
Little snack board.
from Mrs. Smith and I and everybody up. We've got a pretty cool looking cutting board. We've got an Owl Creek gift card for you guys. With a little card here on behalf of our staff. So this will be for the food. You got the drink. I don't know what's next.
We appreciate all the support we've felt, and you guys always reaching out to ask what we need. So truly, I think we do have the best board.
Thank you.
Thank you all for everything on behalf of us and OUE. So appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Doring,
Yes, sir.
you about have scared me because this reminds me of something one of the teachers had back when I went to school.
There was a
If it had a few holes in it, I would have known something was up, right?
I had a stack of those in my office, and the parent asked, "Are those like for 80 people?" I said, "No, they're not. We don't do that."
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, we don't have any food or paddles for you, so lots of great gifts for you guys. Mr. Hotmer, I would like to thank you for all of your support and dedication to our students, to our staff. You guys do an amazing job. You know, it's kind of a thankless job that you guys have, and so we truly appreciate that. Tim, we are going to miss you. I've been around you forever, so I definitely appreciate all of the time you've been on the board. We have umbrellas for you. And so we just want to thank you again for your support, and we hope that the umbrella will help support you on the rainy days that are coming, it looks like, in the weather. So thank you, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Davidson.
Hi. On behalf of Mr. Litchi, Mr. Felicities, and I, we have one of these at your table. If you would grab yours. They are individualized, somewhat personalized. You can feel free to open those. So have your name on it. It might be. So take a look at the front and the back.
Is this a pop quiz or something?
No. So they are all very similar, but they're very unique. As you know, we have almost 700 kiddos in our building, and each one of them brings something unique to us each and every day. And their needs are unique, their successes are unique, and now you have a unique piece of each one of them. One is a little more personal than the others, but enjoy them. Yep, on the back you will find a picture of the kiddo whose handprint you hold. They're all in our, Gracie's one of our seniors. Yep. Mr. Hubbard might recognize that hand. It's grown a bit, I bet. So, enjoy. Thank you on behalf of the high school. We appreciate all the support, the continued efforts. You guys you're very much appreciated to us and our kiddos. I know you've helped us out with so many events this year, our Special Olympics events, and so much. Our building is a hub. It's never closed, and I feel like you guys are here about as much as we are. So thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What you'll see from our SPED department is a little piece of every building. So as our Board of Education supporting all of our programs, you leave your print on everything that we do. So if you will look in your baskets, there's a note in front for each of you that's personalized, but there's also like a little punch card for the board meetings that you have for the rest of the year, you can visit our snack attack corner. It's by the special education office, so grab a snack and a soda or whatever you like on us. And then there's something from every building. So this is an invitation to our 2023 Sip Coffee and See. So you can come and see what our high school functional skills program is up to while they're here. So you can come and visit the coffee shop, Doghouse Vibes. You can eat breakfast that they'll prepare for you, and then also tour the Paw, which is our thrift store that is free for students. They can go and visit and get whatever they need in the moment. Our middle school life skills program created these for you and also created a keychain. So you'll see that in your basket. It's labeled on the back, also in case you forget who made it for you. The early childhood program is extra thankful that you helped expand that program this year and improve those things. So thank you for helping us fly. These are our students' fingerprints that make up every single balloon. So you've touched them and made a difference in their life forever. I believe early intervention is best, and so do so many of you. And so you have literally changed what their future can be like. From upper elementary, we have a personal thank you book. So the front cover was designed by one of our classrooms, and then there are letters inside from various students. And then from Macquarie Elementary, you have World's Finest BOE, of course, with the World's Finest chocolate. So thank you guys for everything that you do. None of us could do what we do without you, but especially for me in my department, it literally takes every single one of you listening and supporting and advocating for our students alongside me. And I'm just very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
We really appreciate it. Okay. Superintendent's report. Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
You guys can bail out.
You're welcome to stay.
We have homework.
Yeah.
Administrative reports are in your board packet for your review. Just again, a brief update. We do have the school board election coming up on April 4th. The individuals that have signed up, Brian Young, in order in which they signed up, Brian Young, Adam Bradley, Aaron Dillon, Brandon Steffen, Kelsey Leggett, and Esmeralda Post. That's what I have for you.
Okay. Next up, our discussion items are construction update.
Dr. Fay.
All right, we've got a couple of visitors here this evening that we'll talk, Pat will talk a little bit about kind of where we are with Excel, and then we got a roofing update tonight too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll let Eric talk about the roof, kind of give you an update on that, and then I'll touch on the summer projects that are.
We have a PDF he's pulling up here. Of course, all the blue projects on the high school side of it were the roofs that we were tearing off. We put on the new TPA membrane, and the 3 at the top left with 2, 3, and 4. Those are the alpha guarded or the coated membranes that we put down over your existing roof. On the middle school, we did the coating membrane on 3 and 5, and we put the TPA system over on 1. As you peruse down, you see some before and afters. The before's on the left, the after. There's a lot of dirt and dust up. That picture was taken yesterday on the right. There's a lot of sediment, so that's what you're seeing up on the roof. But I'm proud of what we're putting down, and I think everybody else is too. You can see the difference in the details. We've changed the counter flashing and stuff like that. You have a counter flash, a reglet joint in there versus a face mount, so there's not a caulk seal on the top. It's into the brick and then sealed up. So most of all of our leak issues, if we're having any, should be taken care of there. Same thing as we keep going down. I believe that's roof section 12, the before and the after. And again, another section of 12. This was an area Dennis was having a lot of struggles with. when he was still here, and that's that same view going back there currently. This was another area, I believe this is roof section 1, and that's the new look of it now. We've also covered the wall. Coda got it taken care of. We had some, this was the pictures as I was walking the roof, so it's probably been almost a year and a half ago when I walked the roofs, took pictures. So that's the before of the rooftop unit. This is what we found when we were inside on the 2 below it. It was not sitting on a structure. It was just sitting on top of some insulation and then right there. And I wanted to get here earlier yesterday and was not able to get it. This was the after they had already lifted the unit up and built a secure box under it and gave it support, so it wasn't just floating on top of the deck. And this is a photo. This is one of the weakest areas we found right there. We reinforced that, went over it and reinforced it again by going over that with the DINS deck, 1/2-inch DINS deck over the top of the whole thing. And then we started putting our new roof, or the layers to the roof system back together to cover her back up. And I believe these are the middle school, so this will be in the distance. I believe that's roof 5 and roofs 3. As you're looking at them the same direction, you see the new metal on the right, the new coping metal there on the inside. And I believe the next photo is roof 1. So we backed off all the rock and we have an overlay on top of there with the TPA roof system up there, and another direction from 5 to 3 on the Alpha Guard system with the new metal. If you guys have any questions, I'd be.
So are all those skylights with the flashing around those, I guess those were all updated?
No, on those, I believe we just did the coating, and I believe we didn't disturb the skylights.
Okay. Some of them here at the high school
They're
are capped.
capped and covered over here.
The ones at the middle school are used in classrooms, and here at the high school they have drop ceiling below them. So they capped them to alleviate leak problems.
Do we have any idea how long that unit was in place like that? Anybody? No.
I don't.
How's the time frame look as far as
So we should be completely watertight right now, but we've got there's a lot of metal detail that's still got to be put up and taken care of around here. There's some minor, I'll call them details, that just stuff that haven't been completed up on the roof. We've got it all encapsulated now. We just got to go back and do all of our details and make it, get them to, they got to get it to where I'm happy so I can say I approve. And I'm a bit of a pest for them, so. Anything else?
Are you Trimco's?
I'm the on-site inspector.
Okay, so you're looking for whatever you're gonna want.
Yes, well, they got it for 2 years. I got it for 20 years, I believe. So we want to make sure it's going to stand the test of time. That's for sure. So that's my role.
That's good to have.
Yes.
So, on a timeline, kind of like Tim said, what can we expect in the next month to be finished, or?
So the metal work is so meticulous. Everything's measured. Almost everything's, a lot of math, a lot of measurements, and everything's really slow. You've kind of seen the progress from that end coming this way. And once they get theirs on, then I'll come back and look at that, and there'll be a few things I'll have to touch up. As far as the crane being out here and stuff like that, I think that part of it ought to be done. They'll probably be, if they're taking stuff up, they're going to be hoisting it up themselves and stuff like that. I know there's a little bit of roof section 1 that needs to be done. I know on roof 7 they still need a pitch pan up there. I just in my head I've got a clock of things that I still want them to address. Good. I want to thank Dr. Fagan and thank you guys. You guys have been great to work with. And knows it's pleasant. So, that's for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
So update on the summer construction projects at the high school, the middle school, and McQuarrie. Gearing up for those, still in the planning stages, but we did have a planning meeting with Dr. Fagan, Dr. Oettinger in January, it was, I guess the end of January. Really just creating a master plan. Number one, key dates. When can Excel, the contractor, have access to the schools? And then identifying the construction zones within those schools, kind of earmarking, this is where the construction is going to happen during the summer. We're going to close off such and such hallways, kind of creating a map for summer school access, how students and staff can access those schools while construction's going on, where parking would happen for students and staff, identifying where parking and laydown area happens for the contractors. And then I do have a schedule. So the contractor is looking to start just the week before school lets out. So last day of school is May 19th. So they're looking to set up their power, their on-site office, get the materials they need here to start that week prior, kind of get in place, get ready to hit the ground running. They may even start at the high school here just in the office that final week of the May 15th. If everything works out for you, if that office is available, they may start demoing so they can get ahead. And then when everybody's gone, they can really start just running. The sequencing is going to be from the high school. So they have a demo crew, they'll start here at the high school. Maybe that crew will go for a week, then they'll move to the middle school, do that for a week, then McQuarrie. That's the sequencing for the schedule all the way through. So the metal stud guys, the drywall guys, they'll just be kind of rotating through. And then most of the work is planned to wrap up just around the beginning of August with that final touch-up work, getting ready for the new school year to start. Submittals, we've been reviewing all the product data and shop drawings for everything that's going into your projects. We have about 60% of that we've seen and reviewed, approved, so about 60% of those items have been ordered. So that process is well underway. Any questions on any of those projects or that process?
This is all scheduled to take place over summer.
It is,
That
yeah.
should be finished.
All three schools will be fully complete, ready for your next school year.
Are you concerned about any of the summer school stuff or all of that?
We've been working with the administration and working through, where the students will be coming in and that kind of stuff, because it will be different for sure. And we'll start getting information out to families where students are participating.
Was any of the parking lot stuff for the bus loop ready to go in over the summer? Is that gonna be working through the summer?
Parking lots should all be done before school starts. And the bus loop, what's the ETA on the bus loop being completed?
Civil work, everything's going to happen this summer, all the site work.
So the bus loop will be done too?
Yes.
Brickwork.
Yes, sir. The brickwork, everything.
Okay, good.
It'll be a busy place.
Yeah, especially where that bus loop, the middle school in between McQuarrie, that's going to, a lot of site work is happening out there. And I guess as well, the parking lot at the high school as well.
All the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions right now?
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, our discussion items is our out-of-state student trip request form.
Yeah, the current form, for out-of-state student travel requires Board of Education approval. Because of the district location, we have several activities within a short distance of Odessa that go to the Kansas side of the state line. And of course, if that's the case, for example, we approved one last month for a soccer match, I believe, that's just on the other side of the state line. So we would like to modify that form, so anything, any student trip request that's within 75 miles of Odessa, which gets us just past Lawrence, and we do have a couple activities annually that we go out there for competitions. So within 75 miles would not require Board of Education approval. There is a map in your board packet to show that area, but everything else beyond that would remain as requested by the board.
That 75 miles is into
Kansas.
Kansas.
Yes. It doesn't, 75 miles doesn't get to Iowa. So it's just within that radius of Odessa.
Any discussion?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll make that modification.
Okay, next up is Stuff the Bus, school supply drive.
Yeah, this summer the district is gonna be having a Stuff the Bus school supply drive. Most of the information will be released as we get a little closer to summer. But we are planning to use the district-owned school bus. We'll park it out by the central office and be able to, starting in late May, go through mid-July to accept donations, school supply donations. And then as we get closer into August, we will then start to distribute those donations to the students prior to the start of school.
Okay. Thank you.
So is there somebody that attends the bus during that time frame?
Now, we'll just unlock it and have it right there where we can see it from central office. Maybe move Dr. Fagan's office onto it.
Take the keys out.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is our annual performance report.
Yeah, Dr. McLean.
Good evening, everyone. If you guys would please refer to your packets, there's some information about our APR. It's important to note that this is the first APR we've had since 2018. So the district has been provided the new APR that is aligned with DESI's new accountability program, MSIP 6. The following points are important to consider to use specific district information. One, there should be no comparisons made nor conclusions inferred between MSIP 5 APR scores for Odessa and MSIP 6. They differ significantly in the context of how those scores have been figured out. In MSIP 6, there's an equal emphasis on student growth and student academic status. There are a number of compliance portions with MSIP 6 that have little to do with student success measures. Our APR scores will increase as we learn more about these compliance measures and how to report them correctly. Student academic success measures in MSIP 6's APR are driven by the Missouri State assessments known as MAP and ELC scores. As you know, we feel there are better ways to assess student growth over time, which are articulated in our strategic plan, which we'll talk about later, and many of you are aware of. The MSIP 6 APR is a single measured document that DESI has determined to be important. It will be important to us as well as we use it to baseline measure for future APR calculations. The first MSIP 6 APR should be seen as a starting point, or refer to it as a baseline for future score increases. Specifically to Odessa, we received a 72.9. It's important, 72.9%. It's important to note that this APR data is from the spring 22 assessment. While this data has just recently been packaged and released to the public, all school districts have had access to the MSIP 6 standards. Therefore, we've used those standards to already address the strategic plans for the district, especially with our new CSIP that will align to those MSIP 6 standards. These steps will address the need for our students and will continue to do so on a regular basis. As we further analyze these results, we will use them to improve education for our students. We will develop action steps to continue to pursue excellence for our students.
Could you talk a little bit more about the differences between 5 and 6?
Sure.
I know there's
70-30.
I'd say the biggest one is gonna be the emphasis on growth and student achievement. And that's gonna be a big thing for us to dive into. And so it isn't just measuring all the students that we want to have high success on the map, it's also gonna measure our ability to move kids from wherever they're at further. And there's a lot of great formulas in there that have been fun to tackle, but still a lot to learn about it as well. So I'd say that'd be the biggest piece. There's some adjustments from MSIP 5, there's a lot of emphasis on attendance there still is that emphasis, but they've just been weighted differently.
Dr. McLean, what is, so I'm looking at, I guess, what used to be standard 3, success ready, the CCR assessments, things of that nature. 5 out of 10. Is that still, I mean, are there still the same 3 measures in there that were in there previously?
We saw 5 out of 10 success rate students. I believe it is, as I understand it, it is rating our success of our students on ACTs, SATs, and ASVAB.
ASVAB.
Those are the pieces. We mostly have students taking ASVAB, which we give here, and the ACT. I don't know that we have many students taking SATs.
Is there follow-up from like tech center completers? Is that still in there?
That would be the work keys.
Work keys.
That's
Okay.
the work keys, it's listed below.
The advanced credits for AP classes, found that those are some things that we can maybe pay attention to because they have a higher weight for a student that would score well in those AP classes. And some of our CSIP plans will address some of those things. Also, our students that are getting IRC type credits, we need to make sure that we're doing all that we can we will report those as opposed to a student taking AP classes or ACT that gets reported directly to the state. We need to make sure that we are taking credit for all of our students that are getting those IRCs.
Absolutely.
And so those are things that we will continue to monitor and look into to make sure we're getting full benefits going forward.
And I know advanced placement is on here. As far as in-state universities and colleges are concerned, many times those points can also be achieved through dual credit opportunities that are much more transferable within the state of Missouri. So, and I believe you've got a very rigorous program there. I had a girl graduate with a full freshman year complete, so.
And
a lot of times the way you code that in a core data submission has more to do. There are so many errors to the negative side because of the way things are coded, and I think Infinite Campus is probably going to go a long way and make a dramatic improvement over Tyler in some of the ways that we code courses and submit core data.
So is that what you would be referring to when you say report correctly?
Yes, sir. And also just when it comes to students at Lex-Luray getting certifications, we need to get that information consistently from them and then getting it uploaded to Moses correctly as well.
So
making sure we're not missing anything.
I will, at your request, help create benchmark opportunities throughout the year for you to evaluate yourself. I mean, like, just to say, okay, in February, if the school year ended today, this is what our APR would be.
Okay.
And then create little action steps for each building to incrementally improve that with some very easy strategies. If you're interested.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Those are the things that we would like to try
With
to
the
build.
permission of the superintendent.
He's okay.
Okay. Sorry, I jumped ship there.
I think what I've been the most encouraged about over the last year is your guys' dedication in providing more opportunities for professional development, and then that vertical planning piece that I feel like maybe wasn't the strongest, but now everybody's kind of what second grade's doing to work towards third grade and on up. not only just grade level teams, but beyond that, it's been noticed, so thank you.
There was strong input from our PDC to continue with that and maybe even expand upon that so that we can develop strong, entrance competencies, exit competencies. And so that started to be built into our PD calendar for next year that the board adopted. That's gonna set us up for more opportunities for that. So thank you. They're at.
Good. Anybody else have any questions for Mr. McLean at this point?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Don't go far.
I'm not going too far.
We're gonna let him talk about CSIP.
Yeah. Okay, go right ahead.
Okay.
Step right into it.
Yes, sir. So a big piece of APR is on our continuous improvement plan for the district. So the district continuous school improvement plan, referred to as CSIP, is a living document that guides continuous improvement efforts to provide the best education for the students we serve. Having strong academic achievement, hiring quality teachers, and maintaining fiscal responsibility are goals established and outlined in our CSIP. We started with the end in mind, using the voices of our leaders, our staff, and our parents to develop a profile of competencies we believe will support success for every Odessa graduate. We use this profile to shape the direction of this CSIP, influence our approach to learning, and model what schools should look like for students to be successful. So I refer to our CSIP that began in November, and this would be a first read for the board. A lot of hours put in by a lot of teachers and administrators and parents as well to kind of guide where we're headed with action steps accordingly.
Any questions? Again, this would come back to the board for approval next month.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. McLean at this point on the CSIP?
Are the district priorities in the gray box, are those in order like first, second, third, fourth, or do they all hold the same weight?
There's two ways to look at that. When they're bulleted, it's kind of not supposed to be in an order. And so different people can say different ways of how they feel that priority goes, but they're specifically not numbered so that they show equal balance.
Not that,
There, I can say I went to a few meetings. There was a lot of time put in, a lot of late nights by a big group of administrators and parents and stuff and teachers, and a lot of late nights, so appreciate that.
Thank you for your time. Productive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have job descriptions.
Yeah, the district has not updated or reviewed many job descriptions for several years. Additionally, job descriptions have not aligned with consistent language. So as we work to update these, I want to submit them similar to how we have done the policy process, present them for a first reading and review, and then the following month for a second reading and approval. This month, we have included the job descriptions for superintendent, assistant superintendent, director of finance, and director of teaching and learning. Again, these have been aligned for consistency in language, format, that type of thing. They are for review and questions, and we'll bring them back next month for approval. We won't have them every month, but as we get through a batch, I'll get them submitted to the board for the process.
So are we required to have these for the state, or is this?
It's just good practice. I don't know if there's a requirement or not, but I know it's good practice to have them and have them current.
Right, and that's what I was getting at, is a requirement of having them current.
Yeah. So I know there's not a requirement for having them current. You'll see as we get deeper into these, some of these go back to the 80s.
Yeah, MSIP 4 had made it a requirement, but when it came to MSIP 5, it was all about outcomes and not about these types of documents.
And And I don't believe in MSIP 4 you're required to have new ones, it was just
No.
have them.
And literally, you checked a box on them.
Yeah.
Can we add a couple more pages to yours, Roger?
Absolutely can.
Any other questions? Job description?
As far as through review on this, has there been a legal review? We haven't asked, we're not asking for something that we shouldn't ask for, or?
No, if there's something that comes up, we will get that if needed.
Okay. Any other
First
questions?
reading, he's first reading.
Yep.
Yeah, first reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
They can see that.
Okay, now we're up to action items. I think we already had one there.
Yeah.
Change order number 2, Kerberg.
Dr. Fagan.
So this change order deals with the structural steel under the rooftop unit. Previously was communicated to you all, this is just for formal approval of that, but nearing successful completion.
Any discussion at this point? I mean, there's,
I was actually pleased at the number, I thought.
yeah, I had called Cole and asked him some questions about it, but, and I agree with Cole, there really wasn't any way that we would have found this without having an engineer go up, structural engineer, and look at the job.
You saw the flashing.
Yeah, yeah, so,
You would have to dig into it.
yeah, right, so. Okay, at this point, can I have a motion for the change order number 2 by Kerberg?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, next up, we have American Fidelity.
Yeah, currently the district utilizes the Hartford for voluntary benefits. Those would include short-term disability, accident, critical illness, employee dependent, supplemental life. Additionally, we use the health savings account through Health Equity, and flex spending is through WageWorks. And this proposal is to move all of those offerings to American Fidelity. In addition to those plans, American Fidelity can offer employees a cancer policy, hospital indemnity, whole life insurance, as well as serve as the 403 plan administrator. Currently, the district does not have a plan administrator for 403Bs, so this would meet that criteria by moving these products to them. This does not impact in any way the health insurance. This is all strictly voluntary stuff that employees have the option to take or not take.
Do we have any other questions about this? If not,
Basically, you're just consolidating everything and building up companies so they have these 3.
Yes.
Plus they have that ability that the others do not. What was it,
The 403B, yeah.
Well, I think the primary benefit is the administrator that's works for them, is paid by them, and works on our behalf.
so at this point, I need a motion.
I'll move to approve American Fidelity as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay. Next up is 2023-24 salary consideration.
Kat,
Uh-oh.
she was itching to talk.
Always. You'll find the following salary information for review and approval for the 23-24 staff salary increase. Several scenarios were run for consideration, and after review, we recommend the following: providing a step on the salary schedule, an increase to all salary schedules certified and classified by 3%, and continuing to cover health insurance plan 9 at 100%. The total cost impact is $625,796.
questions for Kat right now? I have anything? I think we discussed this. Yeah, so if not, I need a motion to accept the 2023-24 salary benefit increase.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Are you good?
Now next.
She's next.
We next.
Just don't feel like walking back there to walk back.
I thought she was mad or Okay. Board policy GBA.
Yes, this is the second reading. You'll find the following policy, GBA, as presented for review and approval. This policy was presented last month for the first reading. This policy addresses accruing comp time. We're asking for a comp time to accrue up to 24 hours and any balance up to 24 hours to be paid out at the end of the fiscal year. We're asking for the board to approve the policy as presented.
Does anybody have any questions for Kat on this? If not, I need a motion to accept policy GBA, please.
I move we accept policy GBA.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Apparently she's done being mad at you.
Yeah, I've seen that. She retreated. Next up, the maintenance department mower.
So to replace some aging equipment in the maintenance department, Mike called around, got 3 quotes for comparable zero-turn mowers for the district to replace some that are no longer useful from Ag Power, Lawn and Leisure, and Nerds Hardware. So the recommendation is to purchase a Bad Boy mower from Nerds Hardware, $9,651.37.
Are all those mowers pretty comparable?
Those are as comparable as they get, brand to brand,
Yeah.
and as
Same
comparable as
size.
they can. All 60-inch deck,
Okay.
which is what we currently have. I think the one that's probably replacing it may be a Skag, but he feels good about the quality of Bad Boy, and having Nerds right here in town is great too.
Did it have a warranty on it much?
It does, I don't remember the specifics, but
And the big mower is still kind of reducing the use of the small mowers as we
It did. That
cycle
was-
through these.
yeah, that was great to have the new tractor, being able to use the big mower, the open spaces, time saver. How big is it? 60. That big, it's 12 feet, I think. 20 inches or maybe, but it's 10 to 12 feet, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I need a motion to approve the purchase of a Bad Boy from Nerds.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Next up, we have our visitor management and emergency management.
Megan and Mr. Steele. How about that?
I'll take that one. So yeah, the district's been pursuing options for both visitor management to be used in each of the building offices and also in conjunction with the new secure entrances that we'll have in all 4 buildings, which will just help control who is allowed in all the buildings, and also been looking at an emergency alert system that can be used for all staff in the event of an emergency. 3 options, different companies were considered, Entrado, Safe Defend, and Raptor. And each system had pros and cons, but we felt the products from Raptor covered everything very well, and they're also a preferred vendor to work with our new SIS system, Infinite Campus, next year. Kind of break down each module or what we would be getting from it. So the visitor management piece would provide each school building with a self-service kiosk that contains an ID scanner, and it'll check against sex offender registry, banned visitor lists, or just any unauthorized guardians, and a printer that will print a custom badge. It's a sticker that shows their name, their role, their destination in that specific building, and the time and date of entry, along with their photo. That's helpful because, like right now, they just have a red sticker with their name on it. And once the system's vetted them, the clearance to come in, it prints all that information. So if a, teacher sees that someone is supposed to be, talking to someone in the counselor's office and they're lingering in the tiled gym, we might need to check and see why that person is, not where they're supposed to be.
Are those color,
I'm sorry?
Are those color coded at all, or do you have to be up close to tell what they're doing?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if there's, as far as I know, it's just a black thermal printer and we can put in the drop-down list specific locations for that building that they would, choose their reason for being here. So, just text as far as I know. And then the emergency management module, or emergency management comes with two modules, Raptor Alert and Raptor Drill Manager. Raptor Alert is going to be a fully customizable panic alert system that works on all devices, so cell phones, desktop computers, teachers' Chromebooks, and it'll allow them to send and receive various emergency alerts and information such as lockdowns, fights, medical assistance needed, etc. And then the Drill Manager assists in the initiating and tracking of the various drills and provides the schools and admins with real-time dashboards and reports to help improve future drills or emergencies. And that could be for all the tornado and fire and lock and teach and different drills. It's just going to be a good way to capture that data and ensure that we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing.
So the panic button is mobile now.
Yeah, and that was kind of the big selling point for us was, we looked at some options that did have some physical buttons or biometrics, but felt with the technology and stuff that we could have it on cell phones where it's just a swipe, or there's different screens and it's all custom and how we can set it to who it alerts. It could be just stay in the building. Certain people may have permissions to have it call 911 directly. So you can have it on cell phone. Teacher has a button on their desktop computer. So if their computer's unlocked and they're at their desk and see something, they can just click and it's done. So we felt that offered the best flexibility. There's GPS, geolocation stuff that can be done to notify where an alert is. So if it is automated and sent to 911, they know exactly where it was sent from. So there are definitely a lot of benefits for going that route. And I know we're looking at some various funding sources to also help pay for part of this if Dr. Fagan or Dr. Owen wanted to chime in there. But our recommendation is to approve Raptor Technologies for the visitor management and emergency management as presented.
As far as the list, who would we approve this? Who would keep up with the list, like the band visitor list? How would that be managed? Would that be managed per building at an administrative level or at the central office level? How would that?
Yeah, all the above. I mean, we can ban per building, ban for the whole district.
But as far as keeping up with, somebody is no longer on it or somebody is to come on it,
Sure.
How would that be current?
Yeah.
How would we go about?
Probably have to just delegate, whether that's at the building level or maybe a central office level. That'll definitely be new for us. The sex offender stuff, that stuff's updated daily.
Sure.
And then it links directly with our SIS system for, guardians and that deal. So yeah, be some new procedures in place, but
We would have to have a central point of contact for that information.
Like if we had something that happened on campus that was be on campus for a year or whatever.
Right.
We'd have to make sure that stayed current and all that.
We'd have to upload that information
That
and
decision.
keep it current, yeah.
and you can set a begin and end date on that person, so they would drop off in, like you mentioned, a year. So.
Okay.
So the district, I'm sorry.
As far as the alert system goes, would that just stay within the campus as far as an emergency and that sort of thing? Or would there be a threshold or a setting on certain things that would go out to parents through this system, or would that stay in another system, the other system?
I would see it more as internal. I don't know that module has a parent piece. There are some add-ons that do kind of bring parents in, but that I don't believe that would be included in this
So
part.
in order, okay, so making contact with the parents would be as it is now.
Yes,
This would all be,
we're gonna keep that, the plan is to keep that separate as opposed to an automated, this triggers a parent. We would rather initiate the parent contact instead of have that automatic.
this is more campus-wide.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, within the campus, what he's talking about on the button, if you hit button A that's for a fight, well, that can be set to notify the principal and the assistant principal and nurse, whereas, somebody's bleeding, maybe that just goes to the nurse, so you can customize it that way too. Or if the SRO needs to be getting a message, he can be included in certain things and not other things.
It seems like there would be a lot of management behind the scenes as far as settings and keeping things current and.
I think setup,
yes.
Yeah.
As far as the kiosk goes, as far as somebody coming through the front door, would that be something that would be like, before they got into the office, maybe they come through the breezeway and that's where they do that? How would that look like? Or would they be admitted into the building and then we find out,
There's been discussion both ways about, because you can put the kiosk, let them in out of the rain, and then you've got that intermediate
before
section.
they can actually gain access to the building?
Some schools do that, some schools it's right inside the door, and there's that communication with the office staff.
Yeah, and the office would have, if they were in that catch point, and they had to do the kiosk themselves, get their print off, and then buzz themselves into the actual office, the office secretaries and stuff will have a dashboard, the visitor dashboard, so they can see who it is, their name, make sure everything's clear before they unlock that next door to let them come in. So definitely something along those
I'm just
lines.
thinking if we're doing stuff like this, then, mom and dad may be divorced, dad doesn't have rights to the kids, and now he's mad, he's in the building, and what do you do? So.
To this point, with the setup and whatnot, I was gonna ask about the training, we anticipate having some training or orientation and stuff with this.
Yeah, and that's all included in the fees there. They offer all that. So like I said, a lot of implementation and initial setup, and then just our normal checks and balances to make sure people are updated and that it's
Logan,
working.
if we adopt this, is this something that we're gonna have ready for next school year
Yes.
in all the buildings?
Yeah, we'll have 4 kiosks, 1 per building.
Okay. Any other questions?
The back end stuff behind the bricks and mortar that you don't really see, but it's 99% of what building does. It goes unseen.
All right, at this time I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Can I have a second, please? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, next we have an out-of-state student travel request.
So this one falls outside the 75 miles. Slightly. We've had some students with great success this year, speech and debate, so some have qualified for national speech and debate in Phoenix. So this request is for that trip for them in June, to the national speech and debate tournament in Phoenix.
Who qualified, or what event, do you know?
I don't, and it just happened, and I meant to get the exact number even and what they were, but
That's outstanding.
yeah,
It is.
they've been doing really great.
I'll make the motion to approve the out-of-state travel request.
Second, please. Okay, I made second. All in favor? Thank you. Next up, establish board reorganization meeting for April 11th. Have a motion, please.
So moved. Second?
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, at this point, you need to have a motion to return to executive session. Have a motion, please. All in favor?